What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Today we are covering the Generation 7 Electric Mouse Pokemon, Togedemaru, which is a really interesting Pokemon, and it's actually very unique and really interesting. So I'm really looking forward to covering this with you guys. I think it's honestly a really cool Pokemon. Like, it has a lot of really unique things about it, and despite the fact that a lot of things initially look like it might not be that great, it actually has some really cool roles. So before I start, what's going on? My name is Wolfe Glick. I'm the 2016 Pokemon World Champion, and before we jump into this guide, I'd really like to take a moment just to thank my sponsor, Pelipper. Please check them out, guys. They're really great. So, with all that said, let's go ahead and jump right into the analysis. Okay, ready? Togedemaru, what do you need to know? Number one, very cute Pokemon. It's a mouse. It's electric. It's a lot rounder than our normal electric mouses. Misai. Doesn't matter. Its typing is very interesting. It has electric steel typing similar to Magnezone, but unlike Magnezone, it's more of a supportive Pokemon, and that changed the way, and its stats, it's a lot like less geared towards offensive, but it has a lot of really cool support moves. So, what do we know about it? It has Iron Barbs and Lightning Rod as the two, in my opinion, the two best abilities for it right now, unless something comes out that makes Sturdy more viable. But Iron Barbs, of course, if a Pokemon makes contact with Togedemaru, it will take damage, and Lightning Rod redirecting all electric type attacks into Togedemaru and giving it a 1.5 times special attack boost. In terms of moves, it gets a really cool move called Zing Zap, which is a 30% flinch rate. It has Nuzzle, and it is another user of Spiky Shield, which previously was only known by Chestnut. So that's really interesting. Basically, Spiky Shield is literally just protect, except that if they use a contact move into you, they take damage as well, which is really nice. And in terms of stats, relatively low HP, relatively low attack, relatively low defense, super low special attack, relatively low special defense, and relatively average speed. So across the board, just really not the best stats, but that doesn't stop Togedemaru from being a threat. So let's go ahead and jump into the sets. First of all, first set. Spiky Shield, Nuzzle, Fake Out, Zing Zap. You could actually use Wish instead of Fake Out here if you have a Tapu Lele on your team or if you're worried about priority, but I think in general Fake Out is a really good move, just in general. So what's the idea with this set? You have a bulky Pokemon, the Citrus Berry. I'm so sorry, guys, I changed this in one of the other windows, but not this one. It should have Lightning Rod, unless for some reason you're not worried about electric types, like if you have Mono Ground or something, plus Togedemaru or Mono Electric. But in general, I think Lightning Rod's the better ability, especially without Kangaskhan running around. So Spiky Shield, Nuzzle, Fake Out, Zing Zap. Idea here is Togedemaru is pretty bulky actually, and so launching Nuzzles is really good, and it doesn't have to. So like Nuzzles, just like spreading paralysis is really good, but it has other uses as well, such as if they attack into you, they can still take damage, and they have to like play the guessing game with Spiky Shield, especially before they know the ability, because they could risk always taking contact damage when they attack into Togedemaru, which is especially bad for like Sash Pokemon. Such as like if you had Wide Guard plus Togedemaru, and they might not want to Dragon Claw or whatever. So there are definitely options with Spiky Shield there. Nuzzle I've mentioned before, Fake Out for overall team support, and Zing Zap because it's actually, like I said, it's 80 base power, which isn't insignificant. It's physical, and 30% chance to flinch paired with 50% chance to paralyze can actually be pretty good, especially because Nuzzle will let Zing Zap move like first most of the time. So what do the EVs do? I just tried to maximize overall bulk. This should be 108 and this should be 148. I'll tell you why in a second. I changed this in the other window, but it didn't transfer over. So for the thing that I calculated for was making Tapu Lele a modest max special attack psychic, a 4-hit KO with Citrus Berry. This is 5.4 chance to 3-hit KO after Citrus Berry, but that was good enough for me, and this should actually be 1 point higher, so I might actually change these a little bit. Oops, sorry, 148. Yeah, still 5.4% chance, but like that's Tapu Lele in Psychic Terrain. This isn't even in, like, if you take this out of its terrain, it's possible 5-hit KO after Citrus Berry, so not even likely. So the thing is that Tapu Lele is one of the strongest attackers in the format, with its like essentially choice specs boosted psychic thanks to Psychic Terrain, and the fact that you can, thanks to Togedemaru's typing, and honestly its special defense isn't that high, but thanks to its typing and Citrus Berry, it just takes such little damage. It takes even less from Moonblast, as you can see. Yeah, so I think that was really convincing, and the fact that you can spread Nuzzle and then do Zing Zap to attack back, just be careful, just so you guys can see how much, like, even the thing that isn't a strong move by any means, but the thing is, 30 you're doing like almost as much as Psychic, and if you flinch once, you're going to be at the advantage, especially after they're paralyzed. So next up, I wanted to see how much it did to Gyarados after an Intimidate. So basically what this calc says is that Nuzzle, if you Nuzzle the Gyarados, make sure you're faster, and then Zing Zap, you'll always KO, which is really cool. If you want to KO Gyarados, you can run one of the more offensive sets, which I'll talk about in a second, but I thought that was pretty convincing, the fact that, I mean, Gyarados, keep in mind, is 4 times weak, so it's you would expect it to do a lot, but this is after an Intimidate with no investment. So this is basically just saying Zing Zap isn't like a strong move by any means, but it stacks up, which I think is really interesting. And then So Tapu Lele Thunderbolt is even weaker than Tapu Koko Thunderbolt is even weaker than Tapu Lele Psychic. So this is a guaranteed 4-hit KO, and if you take it out of its terrain, it does nothing. It does actually nothing. I don't think this is factoring Citrus Berry, so I think this should be a 6 or 7-hit KO with Citrus Berry. So I think that's really funny. Yeah, that should be a 7-hit KO with Citrus Berry. So that's basically just saying, wow, that attack is not going to do any damage at all. And then basically the reason why these defense EVs matter is I wanted to make sure that no investment Arcanine or 4 investment Arcanine, like I'm still, nah. So like no investment Arcanine will always 2-hit KO with Burn Up. So I don't know how common that's going to be, but it seemed like a reasonable thing to calc for given that Togedemaru is in fact weak to the fire type. So those are the calcs for that first set. And like I said, you guys can switch out. I like if you want, you can switch out any of these moves really, but I recommend keeping Nuzzle and Zing Zap. But you could switch out Zing Zap if you had something better. But you could switch out Fake Out for Poison Jab or Wish as well. I think is a pretty viable choice. So next set we have is a Assault Vest set. Slightly different EVs, more Assault Vest covers for the special defense, so we have more attack and less overall defense on this set. But basically, same idea, Fake Out, Nuzzle, and Zing Zap, except instead of Spiky Shield, now you have Poison Jab, so you can hit the Tapu Pokemon stronger. So, I just closed a tab because I can't, my stupid webcam recently closed. I'm so dumb. Basically, okay, let's see what this tab does. Okay, basically that tab, it was the same thing. I was making sure that Tapu Lele Psychic was still a 4-hit KO. So that's what the special defense EVs do, guys. I'm really sorry you couldn't see it, just because I'm an idiot and this webcam, the bottom of the webcam blocks my screen, so I can't. There's like right in the middle of my tabs, I can't see anything. So I'm really sorry about that. I'd like to also apologize to my sponsor, Paper. I hope you guys forgive me. So this is without investment, as you can see in our spread. Please do next out. Please do next out. Okay, we actually have 100 EVs here, so this is versus Tapu Koko. And as you can see, it's going to do a sizable chunk. This is Timid, not Hasty, because I know the default set is Hasty. We also want Tapu. Let's plug in Tapu Lele here, because that was like also the thing that I X'd out. So as you can see, Poison Jab is still a 2-hit KO on Tapu Lele. That's actually what I EV'd for, to make sure that Poison Jab was a 2-hit KO. So that's what the tab I X'd out of was, and Psychic was a 4-hit KO when you put in my EVs. I don't have them in here yet, and I won't waste your time. You guys can double check that if you are curious. So yeah, that's the Assault Vest set. Similar idea, spread paralysis, only and like also have flinch chance and have Fake Out for support. Only difference is in exchange for losing your ability to protect yourself, you gain coverage with Poison Jab and a bit more attack EVs, which makes you overall a lot stronger. So Assault Vest set actually ends up being more offensive, even though like Assault Vest is a defensive item, which I think is pretty interesting. But overall, yeah, I actually really like the Assault Vest set. And again, if you want, you can run Iron Barbs as well to discourage the opponent from faking you out or something. So that's definitely an option. Last up we have another Citrus Berry set with this set. So I don't wanna go too in depth with this, but basically the idea here is that Lightning Rod boosts your special attack. And the thing is, people forget about that a lot because the main Lightning Rod user right now is Marowak. So people like Marowak doesn't use a special attack set, so people don't really care about it. But the idea here is, okay, basically the idea is Spiky Shield, Fake Out, Thunderbolt, Hidden Power, Water for Marowak and Crocodile. Mainly Marowak. You pair this with, so basically, okay, how much is +1 Thunderbolt going to do in Electric Terrain to a Pokemon bulky like Tapu Lele? It's going to do about 50%. And if you pair that with Choice Specs, Tapu Koko Discharge, so Discharge hits both the opponents and also raises your special attack, you have a really good chance of KOing even Tapu Lele. So, of course, this is contingent on Electric Terrain, but you could just build a Discharge team. And like, even though it's like probably not the most consistent strategy, I just think it's so funny that I wanted to talk to you guys about it anyway. Especially as Discharge is such a high chance to paralyze. So the fact that you can like paralyze the opponent and then like that will make up for Togedemaru's relatively low speed stat, which I think is really funny. So if you want to mess around with something, if you want to like mess with your friends and like build a goofy team, I honestly recommend Discharge team with Togedemaru, because also Fake Out also lets Togedemaru, like you fake out the threat and then you discharge and they're like, okay, so like either they protect both or you fake out the threat, like because they're probably afraid of Tapu Koko if you have it on the field, and then once you've done that you get a free discharge boost, so then you get another discharge boost before you attack. So basically you can launch 2 discharges, which should raise your special attack stat to +2, and like so they're gonna want to go after your Togedemaru because like it's boosting itself, it's getting really strong. But if they do that, they're like taking damage from Choice Specs Tapu Koko. This is Choice Specs, by the way. That's why it does so much. So lastly, let's jump into the partners. First partner I recommend is Tapu Koko with Choice Specs. You can also run different items. You can run Life Orb if you weren't worried about like KOing Tapu Lele with that silly combination. But Discharge is really nice thanks to Lightning Rod. Discharge is an overall good ability. Yeah, sorry. Lightning Rod is just an overall good ability, and Discharge is an overall good attack, and so the combination is pretty cool. Even without the special set, I still recommend a Discharge, Tapu Koko. Even if you don't have to run specs, you can run Focus Sash or Life Orb if you want. If you want to learn more about Tapu Koko, I have a guide up. I will link it in the comments down below. It's one of the top threats this metagame, so if you want to learn more about it and how it functions, I personally recommend it. I don't have this choice spec set up because this is pretty specific for Togedemaru, but there are other sets there if you want to learn how to use Tapu Koko. So check that out if you're interested. Next up, we have Pelipper with Drizzle. Pelipper removes Togedemaru's fire weakness. It, what else does it do? It hits ground types for super effective damage thanks to Scald and also Drizzle. It hits fire type super effective damage. It halves the damage taken from fire type attacks. Hurricane is good versus grass type Pokemon, which Togedemaru doesn't have much to hit for, except unless there's Poison Jab. It can offer Tailwind support if Togedemaru needs to be faster. It benefits from Fake Out, it benefits from Lightning Rod. It's overall one of the best choices. It's immune to ground, which Togedemaru I didn't mention, but Togedemaru is super weak to ground, and it also resists fighting. So actually, I think Pelipper is literally the best partner ever for Togedemaru. Let's actually think, sorry, one sec, guys. Let me actually think about this. Immune to electric. Togedemaru is immune to electric. Pelipper is immune to ground. Pelipper weak to rock. Togedemaru resist rock. Togedemaru weak to fire. Pelipper resist fire and weakens fire. Togedemaru weak to fighting. Pelipper resist fighting. Rock, electric. That's it. Literally, that's the best thing I've ever heard in my entire life. These Pokemon, okay, build a team around these two because they're broken. They can't be stopped. This is the most broken combination I've ever seen in my entire life. Pelipper, Togedemaru. Just use like Protect. Here, I'll help you guys out. Protect, Tailwind, Scald, Hurricane. That's all you need. Use those moves, change up the item depending on what you want. Maybe Focus Sash, maybe something else. I don't know. But yeah, Pelipper, Togedemaru, VGC17 metagame. You heard it here first. Lastly, we have Tapu Bulu. Main idea here is that Grassy Surge weakens Earthquake's damage. You're still going to take a lot of damage, but if you pair Tapu Bulu with Togedemaru and also an Intimidate user like Gyarados, you could... Actually, yeah, Gyarados is the same typing as Pelipper, by the way, so this Pelipper can also be Gyarados. Actually, yeah, Gyarados is also really good here. So Gyarados, I didn't write it down, but Gyarados is an amazing partner. And Tapu Bulu is also really good here because it weakens the damage from ground type attacks, and it benefits a lot from Nuzzle because Woodhammer hits really hard, but Tapu Bulu is relatively slow. So yeah, that's a big problem with Tapu Bulu, and that's why I think it benefits a lot from Nuzzle. So if you're interested in what this set does, this is another Tapu Pokemon I've covered. I will link it in the description down below. There are other Tapu Bulu sets, or if you want to learn more about Tapu Bulu and get Pokemon to pair it with, that will also be in the description down below. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, please make sure to leave a thumbs up. My next videos, just to give you guys a heads up from when you're watching this, if you are interested, the next videos I plan on doing are Eevee, Alolan Muck, and maybe Mudsdale, depending on how I feel about it. I need to look more in depth with it. Need to see if I understand it well enough to cover it. But if you're interested in seeing some of those as soon as they come out, please make sure to subscribe and yeah, leave suggestions for other Pokemon, or let me know how you feel about those Pokemon that I'm going to cover. Alolan Muck, Mudsdale, and Eevee. Let me know how you feel about those in the comments down below, and also any other suggestions for Pokemon you want me to cover, because I've done a lot of the ones that I wanted to do like at first, so now I'm kind of doing ones that I think are interesting, but they're not like as high. Like I don't have like I'm at the end of my list basically of things that I want to cover. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.